Our next scale is called Hirajoshi. It originates from Japan, and it's a type of pentatonic scale, meaning it has 5 notes. Here's what it sounds like in C. Originally, Hirajoshi was simply a tuning system for the koto, a Japanese zither instrument. So these notes were the open strings of the koto. But today, it's been adapted as a scale. Since we only have 5 notes instead of 7, we have some really wide intervals. There's a major third between the flat 3 and the 5, and also between the flat 6 and the next tonic. Although it's often associated with traditional Japanese music, we can use the Hirajoshi scale in different musical genres. And that's what we've done in our next piece, example 4-6. This is fairly modern and techno-inspired. Let's take a listen. Okay, so we have a few compositional elements at work here. The piece begins with this little intro. We hear some percussion and this melodic figure moving up and down. The composer wrote it for cantel and a synth pluck, but I think it's really a nod toward the Japanese koto. In this case, we're using the G Hirajoshi scale. Then in measure 2, we really get into the groove. We have a key change, and at this point we switch over to C Hirajoshi. As usual, we didn't notate drums, but they are pretty prominent. We have shakers playing what sounds like 16th notes, but most importantly, we hear a bass drum thumping out quarter notes. The bass line and the chords are the main driving forces of this piece, and it's written in 2 4-bar phrases. So let's look at the first one. The bass line plays a 2-bar repeating phrase, basically an ostinato, and it's syncopated. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Rhodes piano outlines a 4-measure chord pattern. I'll count the measures. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the first and third measures of the pattern are the same, but the second and fourth are slightly different. In the last one, the top note stays on C. I think this is a nice technique. By having this longer 4-bar pattern, the piece feels less repetitive, even when it's layered on top of a repeating 2-bar bass line. Now let me play the chords and bass together. If I didn't know any better, this sounds like C minor. After all, these notes are within the C natural minor scale. But it's all about context, and this is where these plucked notes in bar 5 can help us out. The cantel and synth play this little up and down figure. Kind of like the intro. We really hear these half steps between D and E flat and G and A flat. I think this helps us keep the sound of Hirajoshi in our ears. There's no F and there's no B flat either. We would expect those at some point in a minor key. So scales and runs like this one can help us distinguish C Hirajoshi from C minor. Starting in bar 6, we repeat the same music for another 4 measures, but we're adding a new layer, another synth playing 16th note runs using the scale. Once again, we're emphasizing the shape of the scale and the wide intervals within it. I think that's all I have to say about this one. In our next video, we'll talk about our final scale of the course.